Hey, hello, and welcome to JP's Product Pick of the Week. It's me, JP, and here we are again to check out a cool new Product of the Week pick. So first thing I'm going to notice is, hey, I didn't turn on my sign back here. I've got my cool Stemma QT sign. I want to see if I can fire that up. Let me plug some things into it. I forgot to set that up and I didn't notice. I like having that on back there. Is that going to work? Yeah, that should do it. All right. So next thing I want to do is check in with our good friends over in Discord, in the Discord chat or the YouTube chat, to let me know if we've got good audio sync, because I did a little, I cheated a little, and I started and stopped and restarted my stream, which lately I'm starting to think is the magic fix, so we'll see. So let me know in the chat if you detect any errors. I'm also seeing some errors showing up in the YouTube stream thing, which is always worrying, but I'll rely on you, you good people. Should be back. Let's see if that kicks it into gear. And once I know we're solid, then we'll get started on this. Yeah, so we had bad audio sync. It's usually off anywhere from 15 frames to 2 seconds. I've gone in and corrected them after the fact on the video excerpts, and I take note of how far off they are. It's weird. So let's see. I think we should be back in the swing of things now. Hopefully back in sync. And with that, yeah. Hey, thanks. Luz Theron Telemon says, it seems okay now? Question mark. That's good enough for me. All right, we're in sync. Hey, so let's do this. It's me, JP, and we're here for JP's Product Pick of the Week. Every week, I pick a cool product of ours to check out in a little more depth and tell you all about it. And one of the very cool things about this is that while I'm doing the show, you can head here to watch the show inside of the product page and get yourself a tremendous discount. So if you go to that QR code or this URL right here, it's adafruit.com/product/4632. You can get 40% off. And I'm going to actually pop over to, oh goodness, hold on one second. I gotta fix a product page sync thing. This happens to me too lately. It's a strange one. I'm going to head here and update my product page. So I'm going to put you in a black hole for a second, but that's okay. We'll be all right. So let's go in and select our Google Chrome. That'll do it. I think it liked that, and yeah, that's it. Okay, that was the one that was going weird. So if you head here, yes, it's a little bit of a hint what the product is, but if you head here to the product page right at that URL that you see, you're going to see, if I head there right now myself and refresh in my browser window, 40% off. So it's $26.97 for the PMSA003I air quality breakout. And now let's kind of rewind a little bit and talk about the product. So I'm going to let Lady Ada tell us all about this one, and then we'll be back live.
The star of the show, besides our community, our Adafruit team members, and you, Lady Ada, is...
It's that, but on a breakout.
That's
so
right.
the PMSA003I is a Stemma QT compatible breakout for that Platin Tower air quality sensor that gives you I2C plug-and-play data. So this is great because if you're using this with, a Raspberry Pi, it doesn't really have UART available, but you want to add air quality sensing, this is great because you can use the I2C port. You don't have to take up your UART. One thing to note is that it's 3 volt I2C logic, but the power to the fan is 5 volts about. So we have a little boost converter here, a little switch cap converter. So you can use 3 or 5 volt logic and power, and it will work fine. It has logic level shifting and power.
So what are you trying to do? You're gonna...
I wanted to create some fumes, which you can if you solder. Oh, there you go. All right, so now you see.
Wow. Okay.
Some solder fumes. You can't see them because they're very fine, but you can see the readings just shot up to like 60,000 because I've got these fumes. This works really great, and like I said, I love that it's I2C. It is really chunky. I'm going to now unplug it and show that this attaches on like so. So you see you've got that surface mount connector. So if you want to integrate this, just be aware you've got to like surface mount or through hole solder this little fine pitch connector.
So interesting is now I smell the fumes. So there was particles it detected before we saw anything. Then we
Yeah.
saw something. And
Now,
we
yeah,
saw,
you can smell it.
And now you can actually smell it just a little bit.
That's right.
Okay, cool. All right, and with that is new products this week.
Yay!
All right, yes. So why don't I go grab my own? I'm going to head over to my cabinet of wonders. Give me a moment. Yes, so that's it right there. That is my product pick of the week. It is the PMSA003I air quality sensor. It is STEMMA QT format, so you can plug it into any of our boards that have the lovely little STEMMA QT plug in it, which is super convenient. You can, of course, also use a breakout to plug it into your I2C data clock pins as well as power and ground. And what I've got is I've got a little demo that I want to show you. So I'm going to pop over to this overhead view here, and let me talk about what I've got set up here. So this is, I've got a feather board on a little feather breakout so that I could use this cool SparkFun STEMMA QT or quick connector board, just makes it convenient to plug in. And then you can see I've got that plugged into my little PMSA 300. And you'll notice, by the way, these look like they're blue. Well, they just come with some tape, some sort of protective plastic that I've peeled off the top of this, but I've left it on down here so you get that two-tone look. So if you're wondering why, when you go to our site, it looks like there's a silver one that's just this module as well as the blue one that's on the board. It's the same product. It just happens to have a little protective foil. So I've peeled that off there. And you can see here there's this little blower or fan, this little sort of squirrel cage style fan, that's sucking in air all the time, and that air is going to the module, which is actually using laser light. That's how this works. It has a little laser light that it projects, and it uses an optical sensor to count the particles in the air super, super fast, and it can actually tell the size of the particles. And that's used to tell you your air quality. So for this demo, what I'm going to do, let me show you a little serial breakout, and I'm going to show these. In fact, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, this view right here. Let me send that over to you. So this is the board running right now. I have it in a serial monitor inside of my coding environment. I'm using Atom. And you can see there it shows us the different particle sizes and their quantity in the air. Now, Lady Ada showed that really cool demo of using the solder and the solder fumes, which before you see them or smell them, they get picked up by the sensor, which is really impressive. I was going to do that, but then I decided to test something different, which is I live in Southern California, so a lot of the time the air quality issues we face have to do with smoke in the air. So I decided, what if I light a match near this, or even not so near this? How quickly does it detect those fumes? So I've got a little box of matches here, and you can see I'm up here with this match. I'll light it on camera, see if we can detect it all the way down there on my workbench, which is where the in front of me, which is where a couple feet away, a foot and a half away, the detector is. So right now, air quality numbers, you can see we're hovering around 72 for the 0.3 micrometers. I think that's the size of them, tiny little particles. So I'm going to light this match, and what you'll notice is pretty quickly we get, let me blow this out so we generate some smoke, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So that actually shot up there before I even smelled the smoke, which is kind of interesting if you think about really early warning on fire. These things can detect the smoke in the air before it even hits your nostrils in some cases. Definitely before you see anything, before you see a wisp of smoke in the air or the flame. So That's one potential use of this, is for any types of air quality that could also include safety. And the same goes for the soldering fumes. If you wanted to set up a system that automatically turned on an exhaust fan while you're soldering, you could potentially use one of these to just occasionally check the air for the particle count. You'll notice here it's dropped down to about 300 or so. I think that's particles per million or something like that. I can't remember. I don't have great ventilation in here right now because I've got the door closed to the front of my shop, and I don't have any fans blowing because I want to keep the noise down during the live stream. So it's also interesting to see that we were down at around 100 for that top reading, and now we're hovering around this 450. If I sort of wave my hand in the air here, maybe we'll blow the smoke somewhere else, but it doesn't really have too many places to go. So that's kind of the air quality in here now that I'm breathing in. So something to be aware of. If we take a look at the code here, you can see it's very simple to use. So first of all, you'll see I've got a couple of these little stemma connectors here. I've plugged in over stemma. You can also use these little breakout pins. And it being stemma QT, you can plug another device in after this as long as they don't conflict as far as I2C address. You could have a display like Lady Ada had in her setup, or other sensors, etc. So if I look at the code here, this is in CircuitPython I'm doing this. And the setup here is I'm bringing in some libraries for the board definition, time, bus I/O so we can use I2C, some digital I/O, and then I'm bringing in the library for the Adafruit PM25, and I'm bringing in the I2C sort of variant of that. So that PM25 library covers a whole bunch of these types of sensors that we have for air quality. Then we set up the I2C bus, we instantiate the device here, and then the reading is very simple. You'll see, let me show you right here. We have this AQ data equals PM25.read. That's it. That gives us all of the data in the various units that it provides, so that we can then parse those with these big print statements here. But that's it. That's how easy it is to just read the data coming off of the board, and then we can take that sort of array or list of values that comes in and put them into our print statement here, or do something with them. Light up a NeoPixel, turn on a fan, for example, a separate fan. So that is gonna do it, I think. If we head back over to the product page, there's a couple things I wanted to point out actually before I am too anxious to disappear. Let's see, let me grab that product page. Not you. And if you look here, first of all, I'll remind you, go to the product page. You're going to get 40% off right now, which is a tremendous deal. So it's $26.97. If you scroll down, you'll see not only the info about the usage and our little videos, including this one right now, but you'll also find a link to the Learn Guide. If we head over to the Learn Guide, that will give us info about pinouts and usage in both Arduino and CircuitPython. And as I like to do, if you head to the Downloads page of the Learn Guide, you'll see there's the datasheet for this module. And I have that loaded up already. If we go here, we'll see this is where I learned the working principles, as laser scattering principle is used for such a sensor. It produces scattering by using the laser to radiate suspended particles in the air, and then the collected scattering light at a certain degree to obtain the curve of scattered light changes with time. Amazing. And you can look at this to get some more idea about the different characteristics and particle size that's measured, as well as tolerances, pin definitions, working principles. It's all in the data sheet here. And I liked these main characteristics. The third main characteristic is correct data. That's really good to know. I'm glad for that. All right, so that is the product pick of the week right there. My product pick of the week is the PMSA003I air quality sensor. And what I'm going to do now is unplug my little module. By the way, it's very cool that you can take the module off of the board, so that shows you how that plops right onto there with this little tiny spacing. I think it's a half of a normal spacing, 0.05, I think. So that's my module. I'm going to put that onto my Stemma QT board of goodness and hang it right there proudly. It's a heavy one, biggest one we've got. I think it's our chunkiest Stemma QT module, as the kids say. And that's going to do it for another episode of JP's Product Pick of the Week. So remember, head on over to that URL and you can get a discount that will end when the show ends. You'll have a little bit of a grace period to place your order in case you're filling your cart up with good stuff. But we thank you for checking it out. We thank you for buying stuff. We know you've got a lot of decisions about how you spend your money anytime, especially this time of year. And anything you do helps Adafruit keep the lights on and helps us keep making cool stuff. So that's going to do it. I'm John Park for Adafruit Industries. This has been JP's Product Pick of the Week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.